Hello again, everybody. My name is Roy Heatherly. I'm with the Monroe Chamber of Commerce, and as always, I'm joined with Quentin Durr, who is Regional Business Development Manager for Origin Bank. And this is Small Business Stories, sponsored by the Monroe Chamber of Commerce and Louisiana Catalyst. And we're joined with a very special friend today, Cassie Livingston, who is Bayou Life. And Cassie, thank you for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
We are very excited. So I've told people that you really, you hear a lot today about people telling stories.
Right.
And you really are our storyteller. I mean, you capture us every month and you publish a beautiful magazine. So tell us a little bit, how did you get in? Tell us a little bit of the Cassie history.
Cassie history. Well, I actually started as a graphic design student, so at ULM.
Yay.
So my background is in fine arts, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of fell into magazine publishing when I had an internship working for Delta Style. And at the time, it was owned by Mari Brennan, which you know, Mari. And so I worked for Mari, as her graphic designer while I was in college. And as soon as I graduated, I moved to Austin, Texas, where I lived for 8 years. But I did come back and forth. I know this sounds crazy, but in the magazine business, we have a concentrated time, especially for a monthly publication, where we have our production. And for a graphic designer, that's the main time where we're putting together ads and designing the layout for the magazine. So I would come in every 2 weeks and do production for Delta Style, and then I'd go back to Austin and have a lot of fun there. And I did that until I got married, and then my husband was like, "Hey, Cass, it's time to, be in Austin full time." So I started working in marketing there. I worked for the Austin Business Journal and the Austin American Statesman. And then I was a marketing director for a company that was one of my clients. So I kind of did a little bit of everything while I was there. But I had the opportunity after Mari's contract was done. She eventually sold Delta Style to the New Star or to Gannett. And so when her contract was over, they were looking for a publisher to come in. And that's when I got the call to come back as the publisher of Delta Style. So I did that in 2008 till 2012 when I decided to start Bayou Life. So that's kind of the background of Bayou Life and how it got formed. We were going through a lot with the New Star with rifts and furloughs. Should I say that?
No, you're fine to say
okay.
whatever you need to. That's good. It's the truth.
It's real life business,
And so there were so many things that we wanted to do, but we didn't have the budget or we had the restrictions because it was a large corporation that wasn't, based in Louisiana at all. It was out of Virginia. And so, the things that we wanted to do or the things that I wanted to do to improve the magazine, I didn't have the tools to do it. And so I got pregnant. And I always laugh because I'm like, it was the hormones, that gave me that push to go, I can just do this for myself. I can do it. I can make this happen. Because otherwise, I don't know that I would have done it. But I did. And, I'm super thankful for that. And, just for the community really being supportive of Bayou Life from day one. So,
well, you are a successful print magazine in a digital world. So what do you, how do you do that?
Well, if you look at magazines like Bayou Life and other communities, there are a lot of successful publications like ours, and it's because of our community involvement. We are, like you said, the good news, Our concept is to really highlight the community in a good way. We're not hard news, and we never will be, but we are the community's voice of, here are these incredible people that live here that are doing amazing things, people who volunteered their entire lives that we get to spotlight, artists who make a living from actually doing art, musicians, people that just come in and really make a difference in our community, plus our events, and our nonprofit organizations. And I think because we're so community-based, it's that relationship with our community that helps us be successful.
Well, and the business community has responded as well.
Yeah.
And not only do you tell our story as a community, but you tell their story. And they advertise a lot with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you look at it, from what I've read from the Department of Commerce, e-commerce has really grown, but it still only accounts for about 20% of sales. So you still have 80% of people that are coming into brick and mortar that are locally, based, that are shopping at these places. So there's still like a huge drive for people to advertise locally. And that's something that's also helped us. Our retailers that advertise with us have always gotten good feedback, and we offer something that allows our advertisers to actually be able to form a connection with the readers, and that's with our advertorials. It's not just an offer that's put out there. You get to learn who the business owners are and what kind of like what we're doing right now. It's just a great way for people to be able to connect with their community.
Well, your background shows through, because you can have a local magazine and you can tell a great story, but if it doesn't aesthetically look good, I can thumb through the Bayou Life and not even read the stories, and I feel like I've been entertained. So it looks good. On top of that, the content is engaging and it's good. So you kind of complete it through the whole way. I was in there one time for top 20 under 40, and I got my picture taken. I was like, that was my profile pic for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it just looked good.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big difference. Is there a lot of, media companies that try to put stuff out, but the quality's not there. They don't take the time to make it look good. So I commend you on that. And it's always great to pick up Bayou Life and find out what's going on.
Well, I joke about it being a little OCD, but I'm very much involved in my business, and I've done graphic design for 24 years now. So, for me, I still lay out all of our editorial content, and that's something that I love to do. It's not something I'm forced to do. I have a graphic designer, but it's something that's still part of my passion, and I love it. And I am really blessed to have a great photographer, Kelly Moore, and then Taylor Bennett, who does a lot of our art direction. So, that helps all the components kind of come together for that. We have a really good team.
I think that might have been an understatement that you're involved. Talk about production week.
Which part of it? You want me to give you the good highlights of it?
It seems to take most every minute of that whole week to get the magazine out. People don't realize the backside of what you do to get those things out.
It is. There are a lot of working areas in the magazine. We have our writers, so the editorial side, that are doing interviews. We have a photographer that is going and capturing images, and then our sales reps are talking to hundreds of clients every month, and we might go through 5 proofs with somebody before we get an ad approved, but that's pulling out editorial for them or our advertorial and taking photos for the ads, because not everything comes camera ready.
Right.
We have a lot of small businesses that we actually help with their marketing, so we do a lot of that ourselves. And so all of these things kind of happen, the week before deadline, and then everything kind of gets put together. So I'm there and trying to manage that and eating all the York peppermint patties while doing so. But, we have late nights where we stay, and, we've had to work, especially in our bigger months, 16 to 18-hour days, which is a lot better than it used to be. Back in the day, Mari and I would sleep on the floor of the magazine sometimes. So it's gotten better.
Yeah.
We don't have to paste it up anymore,
That's a good thing.
We don't have to scan every photograph, to be able to have the digital images now. That's been a huge help. Couldn't imagine doing it back in the day.
To touch on that a little bit, how has technology helped your industry? I know still having the print is a major thing, someone to touch, but how does technology on the back end help with efficiencies and, like say, not having to scan something?
Well, I think it's funny. Anybody that's been in advertising has probably had the same experience as I have. But, everything used to be done where you would paste up a page. So you would actually print out this ad and paste it up on a piece of paper. And then we would ship them off by bus to Baton Rouge to be printed, And even like I said with the photographs, we would have them all. There was a place called PhotoFast right off of North 18th Street, and so we would take all of our film there, have it processed, get it in, have to go through it, scan everything in, and that wasn't just for editorial, that was for ads too.
Right.
So just that process, made everything a little bit longer. But when we turn in ads, like if I got ad material from you, our sales reps would write down on a piece of paper what it was, and we had boxes. So it was like ads in, ads out, ads approved, so there was always a paper trail. So you had to be really organized,
Right.
Now we can be a little less organized, which is great for me, but but I think it streamlined everything, and made things easier. You would have a sales call list that somebody might call off of it. It was like a printed list that was like this big. And then you had to make sure that a sales rep wasn't calling the same business as another sales rep. And now you can just go into our system and see whose account that is. And, there's a lot of ways that digital, has helped the print industry for sure.
Right.
Well, you are out in the community all the time. You're covering events, you're talking to people and everything like that. Are you optimistic about our future?
Yes, I have been optimistic. When people ask us why we moved back here from Austin, we loved Austin, but our family was here. And being able to raise our children in this environment, I think has been, our biggest push to why we moved home.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see the growth over the last 5 years here, it's just been great. I still, when people say there's nothing to do in Monroe, I think, I'm so thankful we're in the South, because the one day I have are Wednesdays, because everybody's got church, so I don't have to, do anything. So that's my free day, and Sunday morning. So I was like, but you look, and there is something every day of the week to do here in Monroe. And the growth with the rail system coming through. There's a lot to look forward to right now.
I think people underestimate, I think they fall into that trap saying there's nothing to do here, because there is so much to do on any given night or weekend. It's crazy good.
Yeah. I listened to John Ray talk about the attitude of poverty,
Right.
and I think we've talked about that before, and not to dismiss that there is poverty here
Sure.
in the town, but if you walk around and you say, there's nothing to do, this is such a terrible place,
Right.
the crime is terrible, you get into that attitude, so it's really hard to be able to change your perception and go, hey, look, there's a lot of positive things to do here. We were at the zoo all day on Saturday with my girls, and they had a blast.
Right.
And then we went and ate, and then we went to Skate Town. We had a full Saturday on our one Saturday off from softball. But, when you look in Bayou Life, and if you look at the calendar in April, it's packed with things to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. One last question. We're wrapping up on
Sure.
time, and we're going to invite you to come back with us sometime as well. But talk a little bit. You deliver those magazines, to driveways.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool right now. So talk a little bit. How do you get those magazines out?
Well, I delivered some of them this month because we have to beat the rain, you know. So we roll down both windows and just strung them. But, we print between 13,500 and 14,000 magazines every month. And one of the ways that we've always said kind of set us apart from other media is we know that our magazine's going to go in that driveway. We home deliver 12,000 for free, and then we take around 2,000 more to businesses, and so we know that people are getting them. if you're getting them in your driveway, and then you're obviously our customer that we're looking at, and we can't deliver them to everybody, even though we'd love to. But we have 3 carriers that take them around, and sometimes one of those is me. So if you see some that are kind of awkwardly thrown that hit miss the driveway, that's probably one that I threw every now and then.
That's a challenge. Well, Cassie, thank you so much for joining us
Thanks
today.
for having me.
We've been talking with Cassie Livingston with Bayou Life Magazine, and Bayou Life is basically the storyteller of our community, and you do a great job. So thank you very much for being with us. I'm Roy Heatherly with Monroe Chamber, Quentin Durr, Louisiana Catalyst, and Origin Bank.
Yes, sir. And we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks.